a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to live in the neighborhood with you, so welcome, neighbor. So I got a question regarding knee on belly technique. And as I looked at the technique, I made an initial opinion, and then I realized after I did some thinking about it, I made a couple videos, I realized the way I went about it first was maybe harsh, and then I realized the difference in the knee on belly technique. There's not enough questions. There weren't enough questions asked on why the technique was being done that way. And so what I can kind of do, I should ask a few more questions to really narrow down this video, which makes this more of a long, kind of, not rambling, but a longer, detailed, more explanation video than it would have to be if I were to ask a few more questions. So because I didn't ask more questions and I decided I was just gonna make the video, we'll be stuck with a little bit longer video. So the technique was a knee on belly, grab the arm, put the foot over the head, fell back, and did the technique, armbar, right? So the technique on itself, legit technique, but we have to define when that technique is actually used and how it's used. So to clean the technique up on, or get an idea on, the knee on belly, a couple different ways to do knee on belly. You can actually have your knee right in the center on their diaphragm. You can have it so your foot, some people will have it so the foot is not even on the ground. It'll be up here, kind of floating. You're moving around in here, they're moving around. Some people like to take the foot and curl it and try to get the knee to pin on the other side of the body here, so they can slide over and come out. And then some will put the knee right in the sternum, right? And if you're, we had a guy who used to, the knee and belly was way up here. It was unbearable, right up on the throat. So, at any rate, the knee on belly, depending on where the knee goes, the technique, this kind of technique done in an MMA sense or self-defense sense, might make more sense doing it this way, this actual technique, because the competition point submission kind of idea is you're rarely going to get anybody who extends their arms up, you know, unless you're smothering them somehow in here and they want to push you away. Then they might actually push you away in here. We see this kind of move where the hands are up, also in a mount position, and usually we teach these kind of moves to newer members, people coming into the gym, just to get them used to getting into certain positions, understanding what needs to be done, the technique, understanding, you know, your base, understanding your posture, your structure, all that kind of stuff in here where you should be. So let's go into a self-defense, all right? I have a couple other things getting into self-defense and why you would be on knee and belly, why you would be doing an arm bar, falling back, why you would, just for the sake of self-defense. I have the guy that, if I'm doing self-defense, I am now on top of this guy, this person controlling him, and I'm doing this move, right? That's fine if it's just me and him, or the attacker. If it's just me and the attacker, we're in a room and I need to take out one of his limbs, then I'll do that move, I guess. I think a better move, if it's me and the attacker and I can't get away, because typically this would be the move. You know, you'd get here, push this across, step away, and then run. That would be self-defense. Staying here and then causing more pain, now you become the attacker. Anybody seeing you, or anybody walking by seeing you in this position, on top, doing this, is going to get some different stories from people when they're interviewed later on. So the actual arm bar would, in order to get this arm, you would have to be throwing some sort of punches. And they would be defending, putting their hands up like, no, no, please don't hit me. Then from here, you could grab this arm, push his head, pull the leg over, squeeze the knees, control your descent. That would be your arm bar. Again, if I was doing that arm bar and I had the arm, I'm gonna switch it to where we're cross arms. I'm gonna take my right foot, slide up higher into the body, I'm gonna put my weight on them, make them look towards my leg, push their face this way, throw my leg over. From here, I still have this arm caught, and I can kind of slow my descent as I grab onto the other side. I sit, squeeze my knees, grab the fingers, the hand, furthest lever. Again, you're creating a fulcrum right in here, your hips, creating the fulcrum, and you're grabbing the end of the lever, breaking the arm. Again, self-defense. If you take it that far and you're breaking the arm, that might be looked at differently too. Again, the idea is to control the situation. At times you can slide over into here, get up in this position, control the hand, control the head, make them look away. If they buck, you're putting your leg out. You're really controlling the situation here. If they turn, you can always grab this hand, control in here. Again, that's what jiu-jitsu is about. It's about trying to subdue, or the self-defense, subdue the person. And my goal is not usually to break the limb. So now if we move away from the self-defense aspect of it and get into MMA, you don't typically see too many fights with the guys pounding like this in MMA. Again, you're training with another guy, typically similar skill level. You guys are both, they're not putting a 30-0 versus an 0-0 guy in there. So this guy's done some training, I've done some training. I get in here, most likely if I'm doing this, they're blocking, or they do take a couple hits, but they are not going to stay up here, extend their hand until you grab and run this in. So they're most likely going to do something else. They're going to get this knee off and then maybe come up for a single. They might turn away. So again, now if we get into competition, there is no striking. So it makes getting this hand a little more trickier. The only time you would get that kind of arm given to you in, say, a grappling industries, or a Naga, or an IBJJF kind of thing, submission, any of those kind of, you might get that in combat grappling, if you, combat jiu-jitsu, where you're striking here and someone puts a hand up, now you can get that. Again, you're striking. So that's this whole idea. The Gracies, if you watch the Gracie, Gracie Challenge or the Gracie movements, they usually wanted the person to turn. They wanted the person to turn. They're here, they're doing this, so the person would turn, they would get on the back, and this was their goal. They love to do the mate leon, your neck and choke. So their striking was done to basically annoy, all slapping. So even at that point, you know, they're not looking for the extended arm and going in for this, you know. So if we look at the idea and put it into context, what you're doing the arm bar for, if it's to learn the technique as a real basic, you're only gonna get this on a novice person when they first come into jiu-jitsu. If you're knee on belly, in competition, you would typically get the knee on belly from side control, you know, control their hip here, so, and their shoulder here, so they're not able to roll this way, they're not able to roll this way, up, and then knee on belly, right? 1, 2, 3 seconds, I get 2 points. Now, most of the time you don't see them staying here looking to set up chokes, unless they're just staying right here. You know, if they just don't know what to do, again, you're dealing with kind of a novice person. If I got a person that's staying right here and I'm threatening to choke, you know, and maybe they extend their arm, now I go for this move. Again, that's a lower level person. This person's a lower level. Most likely what you're gonna see are 3 responses. One of the responses is for them to kind of move over to the side, take their hand, push my knee off, maybe from here come up onto a single leg. So my hand is here, they'll take this hand, trap it here. This hand here will also be moving here. As they do that, they kind of shrimp off to the side. They won't put their hand up high, that's a novice. They might put their hand in in the groin area here. Sometimes they'll play around with this foot here, they'll do this. Sometimes they'll take their elbow, shrimp off to the side, come up. You know, if they get in here, anytime they turn on the side to go for a single leg, that's when you're gonna shoot this quarter Nelson. You know, you get this kind of quarter Nelson. The other move they're gonna do is they're going to maybe get, you know, a hand on a knee, a hand on the thing here, and do the same thing where they push this off to get on the side, right? As they get here, they push this off. You can underhook this arm, push your hand on your head, your right foot goes in the armpit, you step all the way around. If it's competition, they have a belt. If they don't, you know, I just kind of slowly descend. Now it's the same thing. Fulcrum, lever, foot in the side here underneath. Boom. Armbar. That's if they turn into you. They have your hand on their knee, right? This one's in here, they turn into you, underhook, pull them up under the side, foot goes into the armpit, spin all the way around, armbar. The last reaction you'll get from them, again, you could get this reaction too if you're hitting them and they don't want to put their hands up. You're doing this, they want to turn away. But we're talking competition, they don't want me scoring the 2 points. So I pop up, boom, pop up. 1, 2, he turns to the side, they turn to the side. As they turn to the side, they don't allow me to get the points, but I get an advantage for it depending on the organization that you're at, what tournament it is. You might not get anything. But as soon as they expose their back, you glue your chest to the back of their shoulder into a seatbelt, right? Seatbelt in here. If you're thinking about it, you're grabbing the wrist and getting a Kimura seatbelt. And then from here, you can do a few things here. Slide the knee up to the head, do a chair sit, leg comes over. You can grab this here, you can grab this collar, bow and arrow. You can get into the Kimura here. We can get into this triangle we've been doing here. Again, they're turning away from you because they don't want you to gain points on them. As they turn, boom. Same as this. Maybe you get here and you're striking, they turn. You can glue your chest to the shoulder, get the seatbelt, right? From here, you can grab the collar, you know, step over, go right into a bow and arrow, grab down here, boom, right to the side, leg up the back of the head. That's a different way. So, the original question is this armbar How does that look? Depends on what you're doing it for. One of the ideas when I'm training is, especially on the dummy, is I like it to be useful and specific. So you have to ask yourself the question, what specifically are you training that arm bar for? Most people who train, who come in, maybe they're, been there a year or two, have a lot more experience than the person who typically is causing problems where you might get into an altercation with. You take them down, you end up on the ground, you're controlling them here, right? They're throwing around, you decide you're gonna go knee on belly to kind of control them more. Maybe you have a hold of their gi. Maybe they extend their hand because they just don't know. Again, you have to decide. If I put my hand here, decide I'm gonna go back, do I know what's behind me when I fall backwards? If I fall backwards, and they decide they're gonna come up, they're gonna push into me, do I know I need to bite down on this to bring them back down? Am I paying attention to my surroundings? Did this guy come with any buddies? Any pals? Any bystanders look at him saying, hey, that guy needs help, but this guy's breaking his arm. So understand why you're doing it, what specific training you're doing, and understand the arm bar. When you ask questions, maybe say, this is what I'm doing the arm bar for. Maybe it's part of the drill. Maybe this is part of your so many moves for your belt test. You got to know this arm bar, which is fine. This arm bar, know how to get the arm bar. How is it coming in here? Maybe you're threading the choke, and you're coming down in here. You want to, if you do it up in here, they don't need to really push the arm. They're just going to they'll attack your arms. But if you come down in here, they don't want you so close. Maybe they push you away. Now they extend the arm. Now you can throw this over, squeeze the knees, control the fall, fulcrum lever, right? So again, my initial response to doing a video was to say, why would you do that technique? If it's self-defense, there's so many other factors you have to be concerned of. Again, the other thing we would do, which is similar, is you get the mount and you crowd them, right? You're in here. So what they want to do is push up. As soon as they push up, you trap an arm right in here. You do this chest compression, or we call it a helicopter arm bar. So a lot of times what they do is you'll slide your foot up to their armpit. This foot slides up to their head. Windshield wipers over the side. You grab the arm, make them look at your knee. You can lean over them, or the top, fall back, right? Again, a lot of people call it a helicopter arm bar because they'll do this. Look at it here, look them up, do that, right? And they'll do drills like that. However, this motion, getting in here, look at all this space. All they have to do is turn into it. If you're gonna do that one, I would say, sliding this knee up, trapping this arm. Sliding this foot in here, now you trap this arm from coming down. Getting this angle, leaning on them, much tighter. Now that actual arm bar, you can do it different ways. You could be down in here, maybe fish it in, and now you have this arm bar. You can turn a move that might be more lower level, like them pushing you up, into a better chance of actually getting this move. Maybe their hands are protecting their neck. You don't want you to come in for a cross choke. So you bring your knees up, right? Now maybe they don't extend, but maybe you fish this in and catch an arm. I caught an arm here. Slide this foot up, windshield wiper, make them look, lean. Again, understand what the arm bar, which arm bar you're using for what scenario, and then think about it. When you're working with a dummy, they're not giving you the typical reactions a live person would. That's why a lot of people will say, what's the point of training with a grappling dummy, right? They're not giving you the reactions. But as a trained person doing jiu-jitsu, you should have an idea. If I'm in here, I know he's gonna bring his arms up, so I might act like he's putting his arms up, right? So I'll, you know, if I could, and these things I could, you know, make them stay in a spot, that would be great. Because then I wouldn't have to like hold it with one hand, right? And then do this. Or I wouldn't simulate them. I wouldn't have to like know that when they're here, that they might try to push this knee off to the ground and turn to the side. Well, I'm facilitating that myself, you know, and then from here, I have to think about, well, what would I do? Maybe I put my hand in here, maybe I get this, maybe I bring it in, and you get into a darce. So, a tool is what? Only as useful as the carpenter using it, a skilled carpenter using it, or whoever using it. Dummy, grappling dummy is the same as some of my heavy bags. I got heavy bags on the ground, I got them hanging. Same as, you know, the mukjang, wooden dummies. You have to understand what the dummy's response would be. If I'm in here and I'm just doing chokes, their hands are down here, I don't see a lot of point in just doing chokes like this. But if I know their hands are up, you know, maybe I have to fight this down. You know, their hands are here, maybe I walk this up. You know, I have to simulate some of that stuff. So that's the real trick when you have grappling dummies. Know that just doing an arm bar, yeah, big deal. You get 10,000 reps of doing an arm bar from here. You know, he's here, you get this motion. And people say, well, you're never gonna get that response when you're doing arm bars. However, how many classes have you been to where the warm-up, your training partner, live training partner, acts like this dummy? You know, he just lays here. He may put his arms up in here. There's some dummies where the arms, like if I wanted to, I could make this much stiffer. My arms could be like this. But I didn't want them to be like that. I wanted them to be able to move. So I could have them stiff here. They're stiff, I can put my hand down, put my foot up. I can even stand here and talk for a little bit. If I don't anticipate what this guy's move was, I can just stand here and talk to you the whole time. But if I'm here, I guarantee he's turning in, he's doing something, you know, to come around, he's not staying there. So, again, have an idea of, you know, what your plan is to do, your reps. You know, get your reps in, make them as realistic as you can. If you don't know how someone is going to react when you're doing like an arm bar or a choke or whatever, look him up. Look him up on YouTube. You know, check out street fights. You know, if that's the kind of area you're in. See how someone might respond there. Take a look at MMA fights. Take a look at competition fights. A lot of people will tell you it's pointless getting a grappling dummy because you're not going to get the live response. You should be spending time on improving other areas that that you need to work. You know, your flexibility, your diet, your cardio, you know, those things. They also talk about studying film. You know, study. Find somebody that, look someone up and say, hey, you know, geez, Hydra Gracie does a lot of mounted X choke, you know? He's working that choke in here, he's getting this, he's getting this. But it guarantees he's not working on someone who's doing this. You know, he's not getting this move, he's not getting this move. He's getting someone who's fighting here. You know, they're constantly fighting. So you might need to act like you're fighting a hand in here, he's fighting this. Maybe you're off to the side. You can get those ideas by studying some film, right? I think that touches pretty much everything. Again, it's a long explanation because I didn't ask more questions to shorten up the video, but I think it makes good sense to do it. That's it.